Greetings, everyone, Free here. Happy to report that after a long wait, much awaited wait, dall-e is now publicly available for folks that were on the waiting list. I know I've been on that list for a while, pinging the team, trying to get access. So it's very exciting to come in and to take a look and see how fascinating dall-e is. For anyone who is not familiar with dall-e, we've made videos about all coming from OpenAI, that is behind GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, the generalized pre-trained transformer models. dall-e is something similar, but for images. So as opposed to text, you put in your prompt, your text, and you get some really cool, realistic, fascinating image. So let's dive in without much ado. Coming into dall-e, logging in, we're welcome with a screen that looks like this. A very, I would say, minimalistic approach to the design. In here is where your prompt goes in, and below are some of the publicly, I'm guessing, available images that have been prompted or generated by other artists, if you want to call users of dall-e artists, or just engineers. I'm not even sure what term to use these days, but let's jump in. And this is a very common example of an avocado chair. So I think that's interesting. Let's do a surprise me. So it puts a prompt in there, a pencil and a watercolor drawing of a bright city in the future with flying cars. All right, that's fine. Let's see what dall-e brings. As it runs, it does show some tips here of other prompts that people have drawn or prompted. So yeah, it does look like the prompt. Looks like what a youngster would draw. A pencil, watercolor, makes sense of a bright city, kind of bright future. You can see spaceships with flying cars. I can definitely see a flying car. So yeah, pretty interesting. Let's go back and do our prompt. I did this with the NLP Cloud scenario. Lions in New York on skateboards. Let's go ahead and generate that. Oh wow. Yeah, it definitely looks like lions. It looks like Times Square, and they are on skateboards. I didn't make these images, so these are all synthetic images or generated images. Pretty fascinating. I think one of the other prompts we had was a programmer in. All right, let's try that. Just hopefully this will throw this off a little bit, but let's see what we get back. Oh, wow. This is fascinating. If you ask me, definitely African Savannah, definitely have a program with some form of a laptop and eating breakfast, or what looks like breakfast, at least to the Western world. Pretty cool. I am intrigued. I am fascinated. It's unbelievable. Before recording this demo, I was just reading of, and I'm going to look at doing a demo of that where Facebook or Meta was coming out with their own model for generating videos by text prompts. So again, it seems like each of these research teams are just one-upping each other. Very fascinating. Let's try one more here. What are we going to do? The admin. All right. Totally doesn't make any sense, but let's see how interesting this will be. I want to see if it knows what a database is or what database admin is. Oh, wow. Database admin carrying a large database on their head. I would take this as that. I would take this as that. One of the platforms that I have is generating text for blog, and it was a challenge coming up with imagery that represents what your text is about. Now, you go to websites, how do you tell if an artist did this or if someone just is generating this with dall-e and is using it for all their blogs? And then other people are using that to train their own models and then generate their own data. So sooner or later, the World Wide Web would just be full of more synthetic data than there is actual data. Because if you can generate all of this synthetic data and save it, you can automate this with a machine that just loops through a massive corpus of input text and generates images. Who is to say that in some point we're not going to have more synthetic images that are in the real world more so than actual images that were created by someone behind the keyboard? What is real at that point and what is not real? Because you might make the argument, what is not real about this picture is as real as anything anyone could have imagined, right? So very fascinating. Let's go in and see what other capabilities does it have. I want to see the prompt for this. An armchair in the shape of an avocado. I'm sure it's going to give a different image. Yep, definitely a different image, not exactly the same image. That's all we have. Hopefully this was relevant. If you've heard about dall-e, this is what it's all about. Putting in text and getting generated images. This is not trivia for anyone who doesn't appreciate the difficulty of this, that machines or computers can now generate images. It's not a trivial task. It was a challenge doing this for just text, where you can put in a prompt and it can write essays for you. GPT-3 did it, trained on billions of parameters, 170. But to do this for images, it's trained on millions, if not billions of images to do it. But hopefully this was helpful and give us a quick overview. I wanted to jump in a really quick freestyle and do a quick demo of OpenAI dall-e. I'm not sure what the dall and the E stands for, but a very fascinating capability. As always, please do like this, share it with somebody that might get value out of it. This has been Fru with Demo Hub. I'll see you in our next demo.